A Bendy and the Ink Machine mobile game? You betcha! If you're new, remember to subscribe and tap that bell for bendy and horror game theories that actually make sense. The Meatly Games is planning to release a mobile game for Bendy and the Ink Machine for Bendy's biggest fans. Surely by now you've already heard of it. The game is called Bendy in Nightmare Run, but it's currently in a pre-alpha stage. This app looks like it's there to keep us going until Chapter 4 is released, and probably until Chapter 5 is released as well. And it's basically a front-on endless running game, kind of like Temple Run. In the game, you play as Bendy and you need to run away from boss characters while dodging these obstacles that appear in your way. Hit an obstacle or get blasted by a boss and it's game over for Bendy. He just trips over or gets caught or whatever predicament you end up with Bendy that gets you to lose. Along the way you can pick up bacon soup cans and this is tracked in the top left corner of the screen. The game also tracks how far your character travels in meters. Something that's really interesting about this game is you're able to fight boss characters. So as Bendy is running around collecting bacon soup cans, occasionally a weapon will appear that Bendy can pick up and it will show up in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. You're able to tap this weapon to be able to get Bendy to throw the weapon behind him and hopefully hit the enemy. Now, if the enemy is too far away, it's not going to hit, but if the enemy is close, it will hit. And when it does hit, a little number will pop up, giving you an indication of how much health that enemy has left. It starts off at 100%, which of course you never see, and it ends off at 0% when the enemy dies. So despite being an endless runner game, it's really up to you, the player, to decide whether it's endless or not. And that is because beating each boss will end the stage, which they call episodes in this app. Now, the Bendy and Nightmare Run pre-alpha app has 2 episodes showing on its menu, but only one of these episodes is available. In this episode, Bendy has to run away from a treasure chest monster with heaps of weird tentacle-like legs. The level itself features an island and a boat with a dock that Bendy runs around endlessly. And the boss in this level spurts out some kind of liquid to try and hit Bendy with it. It also tries to hit Bendy with its tentacles to knock him down and end the stage. And this leads to a really fun chase in the world of the Bendy cartoons. The stages and the music are fashioned in the early 20th century animated style, as are the cartoon characters that are featured throughout each episode. So this makes for a really welcoming app for fans of the main Bendy games. Now, while the first episode takes place on an island, the second episode seems to take place in some kind of big city area, kind of like a New York City inspired level, and it looks like it might involve Bendy running away from some crazy taxis. If you try and select this level, it'll block you with a message that says Bendy in Nightmare Run is set to release with 4 episodes. So it's going to be interesting to see what the other 2 episodes are, and even more interesting to play the other 3 episodes in the full app. It also looks like the Meatly Games team will be releasing even more episodes throughout the year, so this goes back to what I was talking about before with them trying to keep us happy while we wait for Chapter 4 and Chapter 5. When I played the game, I was really surprised with how the 3D characters were presented, even though they were based on 2D cartoons, and I know I really shouldn't be surprised about it, since the characters themselves were 3D in the main Bendy games, but it's still really cool to see how they've been rendered and modeled. The way the game plays out is kind of like looking into some sort of box like 2.5D. It reminds me of when I used to play Nintendo 3DS games that made really good use of the 3D function. Of course, the game doesn't have stereoscopic 3D, this is just the kind of feeling I had when I played it. That's just how good the 3D models are. And despite being black and white, true to the series, every character is full of life. For example, when you hit a boss character, it'll cause Bendy to give a little cheer. And this is something that's so subtle, but I think is really important because it really lets us get a feel for each of the cartoon characters in a really engaging way. Leading on from this, I think it would be really cool to have some other characters that are unlockable, such as Alice Angel, Boris the Wolf, the Butcher Gang members, or at least have them feature in one of the future episodes. Another little thing that would be cool is adding a color mode to each of the episodes. So if you fulfill some kind of really cool achievement, it will start displaying the episode in color or allow you to play a modified version of the episode in color. And I think that would be a really cool way to reward players who like to test their skills to their limits. As for how you could unlock this, I could see this being unlockable through collecting a certain number of bacon soup cans, or running a certain distance, or beating a boss within a certain time limit. These are just some ideas I'm throwing out there that I think would be really cool and give the game an element of something that's easy to pick up, but hard to master and still being rewarding at the same time. It'll start appealing to those who aren't just into casual gaming. And to expand on this, it could be made competitive by adding leaderboards. So imagine being a huge Bendy fan who tries to get to the top of the leaderboard of one of their favorite games. I think that would be an amazing feeling for that person if you could avoid cheaters, because cheating in mobile games is really popular, we all know that. The pre-alpha build for Bendy in Nightmare Run only appears to have pickups that allow you to throw weapons at enemies, so I think it would be cool to expand on this by having items that might give Bendy invincibility, or make Bendy faster, or maybe a special weapon that will allow you to use it multiple times in a row. It would also be pretty neat if we get a variety of obstacles that require some kind of prompting from the player as well. For example, there could be whack-a-mole style obstacles where when they appear on the screen you have to tap them to make them disappear. And of course you'd want them to do this before the obstacle gets to Bendy. If you play Bendy in Nightmare Run, you'll notice that the characters start moving at different distances from not only the front of the screen but from each other, so I think this would be something that would be plausible and really fun to implement in the game. Playing this game in pre-alpha has gotten me just as excited for the full release as Chapter 4 has with its teaser. Tap this video for a full analysis of it, or check out these videos which were picked just for you. If you're new, remember to subscribe and tap that bell for bendy and horror game theories that actually make sense. Prodigies, I hope these videos help to expand on how you think. See ya!